My name is Daria, and as a self-taught graphic designer, I find YouTube tutorials and online courses some of the most useful tools for learning graphic design and graphic design theory. And today, to pay the tribute to these incredible free sources that graphic designers create for the beginners and that really helped me in the beginning of my journey in graphic design, I wanted to share some of my favorite tools in Adobe Illustrator that really simplify the design process for me, but also make it fun. I'm gonna share 4 tools which are super easy to use but not always very intuitive, and also one section within the Adobe Illustrator software that I use every single time I create a project or a design or a tiny poster or a whole brand identity, doesn't matter. With all that being said, let's get into it. Adobe Illustrator and I have 4 artboards, 4 postcards. I just decided to base this tutorial on postcard design. I thought it was fun, and I have a dedicated artboard to each of the tools that I'm going to be showing today, starting with the rectangular grid tool. I think one of my favorite tool and graphic at this moment. The rectangular grid tool can be found within the toolbar section. Here's the toolbar, and the rectangular grid tool is within the group of the tools below the line segment tool. So if you don't see this little icon of the rectangular grid tool, it's probably because it's hidden in the group. So you just have to click on that one, and the rectangular grid tool is going to be the 4th one in the line. We just go to the corner of the artboard, drag it out, and I'm actually not gonna let it go straight away. There is this little fun thing to increase and decrease the number of columns in the grid. You have to use the arrow keys within your keyboard. So to increase the number of columns, you use the right arrow key. To decrease the number of columns, you use the left arrow key. To increase the number of rows, you use the upward key, and to decrease the number of rows, you use the downward arrow key. When you're happy with how everything is aligned, you just simply let it go and it creates a grid. The color of the grid is not the main color, but the stroke color. And then you can go to the control bar here and choose the color as well and customize the width of your stroke. Then another funky thing that you can do with your grid is you choose the grid and then you press Shift Command G as a shortcut. It ungroups all the lines within your grid. So all of them, when you create the grid, they're grouped. If you move it, they're gonna move together. But if you choose it and ungroup it using Shift Command G, and you can customize your grid, create little spaces within it. There's also a little frame on the borders of your artboard, which sometimes when you export looks a little bit weird. So if you have your grid ungrouped, you can actually go press on the frame and it's going to select the entire thing, so not just one line. You can just delete it, and when you export your artwork with the grid, it's not going to have this little weird frame. And then when you're happy with your design, choose the entire grid, press Command G, and it's going to once again group the whole thing so it holds together. And then when you move it next time, it's just going to all move. What you can do with this sort of structure, fill in whatever shapes that you have with various objects, text, and then it creates this sort of alignment of different objects and also gives them specific order of things within your artboard. I just love the way the grid tool allows for that sort of alignment. And then you can go and fill in the background. I think this is fun. Okay, next we have the Freedom Gradient tool. Create a shape, whatever kind of shape that you want. A rectangle, a square, I'm creating a circle. This is a circle, a rectangle. To create a perfect square, you just have to hold the Shift key and drag it out. If you don't hold the Shift key, it's going to be creating like a rectangle. And if you hold the Shift key, it's going to be creating like a perfect square. To apply the Freedom Gradient tool specifically, because we have 3 types of gradient within Adobe Illustrator software, you go to the gradient tool here within this toolbar. If you don't have it here, it's going to be within the Windows section and then gradient. We have 3 types of gradient. We have the linear gradient, which is like from the left to the right, from the right to the left. You can press this reverse gradient thingy to change the order of colors. Then we have the radial gradient. It goes from central parts of your shape to the outer parts of your shape, and again you can reverse it. And then the last one is the one that I'm talking about today, is the Freedom Gradient. The linear and the radial gradient tools have one kind of point of reference, one point of color. You can add multiple colors, but they're still gonna position central to outer parts or from left to right and whatnot. So your gradient, it's still gonna be following a specific order. But then the freedom gradient is gonna allow you to kind of play around with the colors, change the positioning. You can press on these little circles, which stand for the colors. You can press and delete it if you don't want to have it there. You can press and drag out this bigger circle to kind of make the area that this specific color takes larger or smaller. Within the gradient, within the shape, you can press on any point and it's going to add even more colors. To actually change the colors, you choose the color point, you go on the color picker tool. Here within the toolbar, you go and choose the color, or you double click on the point and you get the color settings and you change them. I think I'm going to stick to these colors, and if you go and press on the shape once again, these are going to disappear. For you to bring the color settings back, you're going to open the gradient toolbar and press edit gradient, and here you go. Let's do it once again with the square. Choose the shape, gradient, freedom gradient. I actually quite love these ochre, and I'm thinking about adding something olive green. Change these the other way around, maybe add like a stroke around your shape to make it more defined. And here you go. Freedom gradient tool makes your objects look really fun, and if we combine actually these two together, we can make something even cooler. You can even source the color from the shape with the color picker tool. So you just choose your shape, go to the color picker tool, press on this gradient, and it's gonna fill in. Look, this is really fun, right? Next, we have pucker and bloat, which is not a tool. This is an effect. To use that one, we have to once again create a shape. Let's go and duplicate the shapes that we have. I'm going to remove the color, the gradient for now, and just go with the shape itself and without any sort of strokes. We start with the circle, select the shape, then go to effect panel, then we go to distort and transform, and then find pucker and bloat. You see you have this little, how is it called? Line. No, it's not the line that I want to say. Doesn't matter. Basically, if you go rightwards, you're gonna bloat the object. And if you go leftwards, you're gonna pucker the object. This allows you to create really fun shapes, like little stars. If you go really far, it's gonna make it look like that, which is also super fun for creating like patterns. Oh wait, I lost it. We lost it. No, I'm actually sweating. It's really hot in here. And you can create fun patterns with that. If you actually want me to show you how to create patterns in Adobe Illustrator, let me know in the comments down below. Maybe I'm gonna combine a set of new tools and functions and effects and create part 2 of this Adobe Illustrator tutorial. Bloat, it's gonna create, like, I really love this little flower thingy. You can go apply the bloat effect, and then if you duplicate this one, I have two different shapes, basically the same circle, just with the bloat effect, and then I rotated it, overlaid it over the previous one, and we have a cute flower. How cute is that? You can go and use pucker mode and create a little star, and we're gonna duplicate the star, rotate the star, and again put it here, and it's gonna create an even cooler star. Let's see what the pucker and bloat tool is gonna do with the square. If we bloat it, it's gonna create like a clover, and then if we go pucker, it's gonna create again, like, it resembles the star when we rotated it, but I really love the clover, so let's keep it. And actually, no, I thought about making it green, but I'm gonna keep it blue. As you can see, when we press on the shape, when we select it, it's still a square, and here it's still a circle. To vectorize this like clover shape, you select the shape, you go to object, expand appearance, and then it's gonna expand it onto the clover, so it's gonna be like a full-on object. It's gonna have nothing to do with the square that it used to be. And with this one, because we have two shapes overlaid here, you're actually gonna have to go onto properties, pathfinder, and choose the first no, it wasn't the first option, but I just created something really weird. What did I just do? We didn't have to do that. You just go choose the shape, you go to object and expand appearance, and it's gonna do it by itself. And then when you when you have expanded the appearance, you go onto the Pathfinder tool, use the first option, and it's gonna create the shape, because if you don't do that, it's gonna be two shapes separated, and we want them together as a unified star. So we choose the Pathfinder. Don't do the Pathfinder thingy first, because it's gonna do that, whatever that was. But that was actually looking really cool. I'm gonna see, like, when you explore things by yourself and something unexpected comes up, you never know, you know? When you find something really cool and unexpected and fun, Packer and Bloat, create weird shapes and, you know, have fun. And then our last tool, actually, the Shear tool. I would say the most simple, intuitive, and easy to apply of all of them that I showed you. I would say this one I mostly use for typography, titles and whatnot. I quite often apply it within my YouTube videos, like in the intro, to add more kind of dynamism to the text. But it also can be used with the shapes, and I'm going to show you two options, with the text and with the shapes. So actually, let me go and create the background here first. I want to... Back to the Shear tool. I'm getting distracted really easily. We're gonna go and start with the text. Choose the text tool. Type in something, creative flow. I think I want to make it uppercase, so let's go to type, change case and uppercase, and it's gonna turn all the letter forms into uppercase letter forms. Let's make it bold. I'm gonna go expand it to vectorize each letter form by using the shortcut Shift Command O, and then I'm gonna use another shortcut Shift Command G to separate each of the letter forms, to bring them together and to kind of shuffle them around and see how I want to. And then we're gonna go choose all the letter forms once again, Command G to group them all together. First, you're gonna go and select your object with the selection tool, and then the Shear tool. Oh, I have like 3 huge helicopters passing by. We live in a scary world. The Shear tool is located on the 7th line next to this little arrow. Within the group of these tools, it's going to be the second one. So if you see the scale tool, the Shear tool is going to be the next one. And then when your object is chosen, it's important that it is chosen, because if you don't select it first, it's not going to apply. You're going to go pick any of the anchor points within your graphic and just drag it out. It does sometimes really funky things, makes it look more in the movement and more dynamic. But this is a bit too much. Maybe something like that would be better. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm gonna apply the background. We can do the same with any kind of shape. If we do the square, select the object of the Shear tool and do the same thing, and it's pretty much gonna show the same type of an effect. The way this tool works on ellipses, if you create like a perfect circle and then use the Shear tool, looks like a bean. Make it red. It's gonna be bold and red, and then bring it behind. Here you go. And then the last thing that I wanted to show you, which is actually not a tool, not an effect, is just a section within the Adobe Illustrator software, which I use every single time I design. Every single time I open Adobe Illustrator, I have the section open. To open our secret section, go into Window, and we open Libraries. I love libraries. Wait, it's lagging. Mr. Adobe Illustrator, are you okay? I just had the most dramatic introduction to the libraries, and you decided to just crash on me. I restarted Illustrator and the libraries are okay now. So to open the library, once again, you go onto Window, Libraries. Mine are already switched on, so you just have to, if your tick is not there, then it means it's not gonna be there, but basically for you to open it, you know what I mean. Libraries. What are these for? If you have a personal brand, if you have a selection of colors which you're using all the time and you're just gonna keep them all there saved, use them in many of your projects across different designs, this is a perfect section for you. If you're working on a brand, if it's like a long project and you also want to use the same colors, the same graphics, the same icons, patterns across different Adobe Illustrator documents and not just Adobe Illustrator, you can use the libraries. So the libraries basically allows you to keep all your assets safe no matter what document you're working on. So if I create a library within this document, to create a library, you go library section, you have this little plus sign here. We can create new library. I'm gonna call it Elsa. Then you get a new library, and when you open a new document, let's go new file, Elsa is gonna be there. And if I make any changes to Elsa within this document, the Elsa is gonna be changed here as well, okay? How do we go about the library? How do we add assets to the library? Starting with colors, for example, I created these assets, right? This butter cream, butter, yellow, whatever color is super trendy right now, and you want to use it in every single project. The object that has this color, and it's going to show this color here as well. And to add it to the libraries, have this plus sign here. You go, choose the plus sign, and it's going to automatically show you the fill color that you have chosen here. You go, press on that fill color, and it's just going to save it here. And then anytime you want to use this color, you just choose the object, you open the libraries, you open that library, you simply press on the color, and it's going to change it to that specific color in whatever document that you want to work on. And I can also go select whatever color that I want within this document, and it's gonna add in this library as well. The library doesn't depend on the document you're working in. It's attached to your Adobe Cloud account. Add the stroke color there as well, and if you apply, it's gonna actually apply as a color. These colors don't depend on the type of graphic they are applied on. They are just simply saved as pure colors and nothing more. The other thing that you can add to your library is actually a graphic and a shape. This is my branding asset, and this is going to be the shape of all the stickers that I'm going to be creating for the brand, so I just want to keep it the way it is. I choose the shape and I go to the library plus sign. Again, I can add the color of the shape, but I can also add the graphic. There is the little thing with the graphic. If you go and drag it out back to the document, it's not gonna be a vector object. As you can see when I'm pressing on this one, the original one, it has the selection around it, the blue line. It's a vector object that I can actively work on within this document, do whatever I want with it. This one, no. To make changes to it, you actually have to go back to the properties panel and edit original. You're gonna see quick actions, edit original, and it's gonna bring it to a separate document where this circle, this ellipse, oval, whatever, it's gonna open as a vector graphic, and you can go and change it around. So let's make it, I don't know, like green. And then you go and save it, save this artwork. I just did it through a shortcut Command S. And when I'm going back to my document, it's gonna automatically change to green color. And if I'm gonna decide, okay, I want it to be blue, go file, save, and it's gonna upload it within the library as well, and it's gonna change it here. Let's give it a second. Yeah, you see? Same thing applies to all the visual tools that you want to be using. Say for example, there is even a specific image that you want to be using, like this gorgeous butter cream. You love this image and you want to save it within the library. You go, select the image, plus sign, graphic, and it's gonna upload this graphic within the library, and then you can just bring it into the document, and it's gonna be there with you forever, and you're not gonna lose it. If you log in to your Adobe Creative Cloud account on a separate device, your libraries are still gonna be there within a different laptop. You're not gonna be losing those assets. Keep working on the branding projects and have all those assets saved within your Creative Cloud, and work from any place of the world, from any device. If you log into your account, you can access them anytime and anywhere. And that's it for today. I hope you learned something. My phone died while I was recording the outro for the video, but I just wanted to say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little Illustrator tutorial. If you have any specific requests about any tools, sources, softwares and whatnot, just let me know in the comments down below, or DM me on Instagram at madewithdaria. I always have difficulties pronouncing my own name. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.